Yo, it's your boy Ancient Albatross here behind the scenes, but we have the Cypher Unlimited boys as usual. We have Spigs18 or Anthony, we have Alpha Dean or just Dean, and Dean, what are we doing here tonight?
Oh man, it's a great night. We've got none other than the illustrious Mr.Tarrasque. That's what Mr.Tarrasque, as he's known on the interwebs. But it's Unrick Earth Talks. He has a highly successful YouTube channel. He discusses role-playing games, gives advice on playing and game mastering. He reviews modules from D&D to Cypher and everything in between. And he's also written a successful adventure called Isle of the Dreaded Accursed for 5e that is now being crowdfunded and over for Cypher System. So we're going to talk about that and all sorts of other great stuff because, you know, this is Cypher Unlimited. Say hello to our illustrious audience there, Mr. Tarrasque, Mr. T.
Hello there. Hi there. Yeah, I'm Mr.T. You just basically said everything that I needed to say when I introduced myself, so thank you for that. The only thing you got wrong is that I got a highly successful YouTube channel. For me, I'm just a guy behind a laptop. I got like a few subscribers and a few views compared to some other people. But yeah, that's what I do. I do the YouTubes, and I like it.
Compared to us, you're Universal Studios.
Yeah, okay, but yeah.
We're trying to rub elbows with the big boys, and you know, hey.
So you need an in-betweener like myself to just like as a stepping stone.
Mr. T, welcome to the studio. You know, me and you've been playing Discord tag for several months now. I'm so happy that thank you for getting up at 5 in the morning to chat with us because I know that could be a real pain in the ass, and we really appreciate you, taking the time to talk to us. So thank you so much for that. And please tell our viewers who may not know a little bit about yourself and your experience in gaming with tabletop RPGs.
Yeah, I've been a D&D slave for about 20 years, some 21. I'm getting old, 22 years now. And I've been playing since 3rd edition. I went back to some 2nd edition, but I mainly started at 3rd edition. I stuck with 4th edition all through its lifespan. And I actually liked it. Don't kill me for it, but I actually liked it. It wasn't D&D, but it was a good game. So, and yeah, I've been doing 5th edition content on my channel for a few years, reviewing 5th edition modules, the ones that you see behind me and scattered across my studio, and all like piles and piles and piles of books that I reviewed. But with the entire OGL situation from a little company across the sea, I just picked up my Cypher System book that was sitting on my shelf. It's, by the way, sitting right there. Which was sitting on my shelf for about a year, maybe even longer, because Monte-Cook Games sent me a box with stuff, and I opened it, looked at it, and put it away, not because I didn't want to look at it, because there was just so much 5th edition stuff going on at that point. I just completely forgot about it. Then the OGL thing happened, then I opened my Cypher System rulebook, and I got hooked, basically. That's like immediately, instantly, I fell in love with it. Told one of my best friends, Frederick, who's also helping me out with the Kickstarter, you should really check this out. And he bought all the books, and I got all the books. And now I'm like 50% Cypher System YouTuber and 50% 5th edition, and then some other systems scattered across that. So yeah, that's basically who I am.
I mean, that's awesome. Like, I got excited to see, not only you and a lot of bigger channels starting to embrace Cypher System and Monte-Cook Games as a whole, because the more people playing the system, it's like what you said, it is a beautiful system, and it just didn't have the shine that it deserves. So thank you for, giving it a try, and thank you for exposing it to your audience, which is even more important. I just want to say one thing. What you said about 4E is how I exactly feel the same way too. I also liked 4th edition, and I always said the same thing what you said. It's a great game. It wasn't D&D, but it was still a really good game.
Yeah, it was just You know, it was a great game. It was in the time like of World of Warcraft and all that stuff. So they tried to do some more MMORPG like gameplay in a tabletop RPG, right? But I liked it. I was young still back then. I still am, but you know, at heart, right? But yeah, I really liked it. It wasn't just, it didn't feel like D&D, and 5th edition felt like D&D again, right? It was like, oh, you're going back to 3rd edition, but they're like cleaning some of it up. Yeah, I really liked it with like the powers, and you get like the daily powers and encounter powers, and I like the design, and I really still like the artwork in general, style of the books. Like the books themselves are really, really beautiful. Even more beautiful than like 5th edition.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say this once, and you know, you guys, it'll be, you know, out here on the interwebs for everybody to remember hearing me say something positive about 4th edition. 4th edition had a lot of actually things that were good about it. As has been said, it just wasn't D&D. It didn't feel like D&D. It felt like playing a video game at the table. And if you wanted that type of experience, you know, if you wanted to go back more to it felt more like the old days of chainmail and stuff like that when you were playing with miniatures. That being said, I'm glad 4th edition is over. And, you know, it is what it is. But that's just coming from an old curmudgeon who's been doing this for way too long.
Dude, I was about to say, now when's the nice stuff that you was gonna say is gonna...
I just said the nice stuff. Didn't you hear me? It was a great game. It had a lot of redeeming.
Yeah, I know.
One of the coolest things about 4th edition, I'll say this. The Dungeon Master's Guide actually was probably the first book like D&D, or, you know, with as much crunchiness, that they actually gave you advice on being a game master, on being a dungeon master. Was actually excellent advice. The monster manual was brilliant, and the tactical ideology. So there we go. See, good stuff. Now, I have a question for you.
It's funny because I've been saying it on my channel every time when I talk about a Game Master's Guide or a Dungeon Master's Guide or whatever. I always mention the 4th edition Dungeon Master's Guide as being the best Dungeon Master's Guide ever.
Yes,
period. It's
I
better
agree.
than 5th edition. It's better than any other GM guide from other games or people who tried it. The 4th edition one just really nails it, and in the essence of what it is to game master, right? And yeah, it is the best Game Master's Guide out there for me.
The DMG was excellent. So I have a question for you. Okay, so your YouTube channel is a great resource to learn about RPGs. You cover vast amounts of products and subjects. So what made you want to start your YouTube channel, and what can we look forward to?
Oh, wow. What made me, I was bored, basically. I was like really bored out of my mind when I started. I had a YouTube channel called Veggie Vulture, still online, where I covered Sea of Thieves, the video game content. Before it came out, I was like reporting on it, and it was doing quite well-ish. But then Sea of Thieves ended up sucking at the point of release, like many video games do when they release. And yeah, there was just nothing to do in the game. Right now, the game is pretty good, but back then when it released, it just sucked. And I was like, I'm not making content. I cannot fake my enthusiasm or whatever. And then I got some modules laying around, and I was like, I'm just gonna start a YouTube channel, and I'm just gonna try stand in front of like a white wall or whatever, and talk about these modules, and that's how it started. And I got like 600 or so subscribers overnight, like literally overnight, from just posting my first videos on Facebook and stuff. And that's how I noticed that there was an audience for it, and I just kept doing it, and it got better. Bought a new webcam, bought a new microphone, you know. Yeah, that's like 7 years ago now or something, I think.
I've actually been binge watching your stuff for the last couple of months, and you have a lot of great episodes in there, very informative. And I love the fact that you not only do you like review products, you come from a different perspective than a lot of other videos. A lot of other content creators tend to approach it is you not only show like the usefulness of the product, but you add your own personal touch of how you would use it, and you know that I think it's refreshing, and I really enjoy your content.
Yeah, the main thing about my channel, like, is that I decided when I started doing it, I decided I was only going to review stuff that I liked. So, so there's some people saying that that's you should also talk about stuff you don't like, and I'm like, no, my channel is more like a collection of stuff that I like. It's not per se a review channel, like, oh, this sucks, and I'm throwing it away, right? But it is a channel with a library you can browse through with stuff that I personally, a Belgian guy sitting behind a laptop, likes, right? So that is what my channel is about. And the moment I started my channel, I was only 2 months in when I started receiving like boxes full of stuff. I'm not exaggerating. I was 2 months in. I didn't even have 1,000 subscribers, and I was getting sent PDFs. I was getting sent physical copies. Cobble Press started sending me, like, there's all my Cobble Press books I didn't even buy. I think I only bought my World book, but all the other ones I didn't even buy. They just sent them to me, and every now and then there's a few that I didn't review because they were just not like really my thing, right? But there's a bunch that I reviewed because I really like, and I became a fan of Cobble Press that way. So yeah, that's what my channel is about, and that is also why I think I got like this smaller but really positive minded community behind my channel. Like, my comment section, my Discord, 99% is just people being positive and constructive and stuff. So if you have a channel where you break stuff down, you're going to attract people who want to break stuff down, right? That's just basically my mindset behind the channel, and it works. So
yeah, and you produce great content. And I guess from reading all those books, you know, it made you want to start writing adventures, because you know you currently have a Cypher adventure on Backerkit now for Owl of the Dreaded Accursed. Tell our audience a little bit about this adventure that may not know.
So Isle of the Dreaded Accursed is my own adventure that I've written with JVC Perry, one of the biggest names in the 5th edition field. I got to write it with him because I reviewed some of his stuff, and then I just pitched my idea to him. And I was like, you want to write this together? Try to kickstart it, and if we kickstart it, we can write it together. And he was like, yeah, sure, why not? It seems amazing. And we kind of became buddies. And it is I'm calling it a full-length adventure because it takes like it's not like a one-shot or a two-shot. It takes like, I don't know, for my groups, it was always like between 5 and 8 sessions or something like that. But it really depends on how much role-playing people want to do and searching across like the dungeons and stuff. And it is a adventure that has like all of the pillars of play that are important for me, like lighthearted role playing with a lot of like weirdness and humor and stuff. There is exploration on the sea with a lot of like stuff to discover, and then there is the old school dungeon crawl that I really liked in there. And yeah, the main premise of the adventure is that there is an evil sea goddess who has a temple on an island, and people were always like bringing her sacrifices because they wanted to tame the sea. They wanted her to tame the sea, right? But it went on for so long that is more like one of those Santa Claus things where you don't really believe in it, but you keep acting like you believe in it because for the sake of it might be real, right? So people kept bringing sacrifices, but her high priest kind of did something bad, and she got pissed off, and now she's murdering and killing everybody on the shores and on the seas. And now it's up to the players to bring like the highest sacrifice, which is, spoiler alert, a kraken skull to her altar and tone her down, basically. But she's not gonna make it easy for the players to do so, and that is basically the main premise.
You had me at Kraken skull.
Sorry?
I said you had me at Kraken skull.
Yeah, it's really funny. I played it with like 3 or 4 groups and like total playthrough outside of like playtests. I every time they have like this gigantic Kraken skull that barely fits on their ship. By the way, they're getting a ship in the adventure, and they have to figure out how to get that into a dungeon where it won't fit. And it's like only one group figured it out without any hints that they need to burn it. They need to burn it and put it in a freaking urn. And there was one player at my table who was like, "Hey, Krakens don't have skeletons. They don't have skulls." And I'm like, "Yeah, they don't have skeletons, but they do have skulls. Google it." Because I was writing the entire adventure, and then somebody came to me, "Hey, Krakens don't have skulls," and I was like, "Oh shit." Fuck. And oh shit, I need to do
My
change.
Kraken does.
And I was like, Google it. So do octopi? Is that a plural? Octopuses? Do they have skulls? So they have skulls. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Isle of the Dreaded Accursed is almost entirely funded. You have about 26 days left. So, please tell us briefly about the stretch goals and why you have one pledge level.
Yeah, that is the thing. I have one pledge level because nowadays you have this print on demand kind of thing, and I have one pledge level because I just want to give everybody everything, basically. I have the pledge level for the PDF. People pay 20 euros for the PDF. They get the 5th edition PDF for free, throwing it in there. If it funds, all backers get a 5th edition version of the PDF in their inbox. Everybody gets that. Everybody gets the Cypher version. Everybody gets whatever stretch goals unlock, which is new art, probably done in part by none other than I always butcher the name, but it's Brian Scheim from Cobalt Press, who I'm talking to do some artwork for Isle of the Dreaded Accursed. And I also want to do a complete Foundry virtual tabletop conversion for it with like everything set up, ready to go. I want to give everybody that, and then I'm probably forgetting some stuff. And everybody gets a print code. Basically, you can print it. You can print it at cost, meaning that you only pay for the print costs. You're not paying anybody anymore. So you're paying in like between $4 and $8, depending if you go for like the high quality one or the somewhat lower quality one. So you can decide for yourself. Hey, I got a PDF. I want it in print. I can get it in print. I want it in high quality. I want it in medium quality, low quality, whatever. Everybody can decide for themselves, and that's what I'm doing.
I really love the concept of the one pledge level and the way you explain it on the Backerkit. It's it's one, it's unique, and two, it's I like the concept of, hey, I want everyone to get everything, no matter how much we raise. Everyone's in on the same level, and I appreciate that. It's refreshing.
Yeah, I'm even like, for me, if it would like now suddenly explode or whatever and got like way higher, like a 3rd or 4th pledge level, I'm really thinking of doing like another separate side quest in a separate PDF. But like that's also just for everybody, right? Just here's another adventure. Do it at what you want, play it, run it.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
You originally mentioned, and we spoke about this before, that it was originally designed for 5e. So how has designing for Cypher System been going? And did you have to change your mindset writing or designing a for Cypher instead of other systems like 5e?
Basically, I was getting into the Cypher System, talking to a lot of people, playing some games here and there, running a few games, and it came to me that my adventure for 5th edition is a very narratively driven adventure. And that is why it clicked for me. It was like, Isle of the Dreaded Accursed would be perfect for the Cypher system, just because it is so narratively driven. It is an adventure with, for example, just give an example, in 5th edition, the 5th edition version, the players are only tier 2, but they get to go and catch and defeat a Kraken, which is way too challenging for them. But there is this entire cinematic storytelling skill challenge thing that we wrote, and it's really unique, and a lot of people really loved it, and it's like the piece that I'm most proud of. If you play it correctly, it is epic every single time. You go out with a fleet that's helping you, and you are basically like the ship that helps the fleet out on different locations. There might be a ship burning and you're dragging people from the ship. There might be a ship that's out of ammo. Your ship might be almost capsizing. That kind of stuff just happens through the battle. And then if you run it correctly as a game master, it is actually the player ship that does the final blow to the Kraken. And I played that 5 times, and I've gotten cheers at my table from that encounter alone. Like it takes almost an entire session. It's just absolute edge of your seat material, and that's just perfect for the Cypher system, because the Cypher system for me is a system that really invites improvisation, and it's really easy to improvise stuff for the Cypher system. So if you are having the skill challenge in 5th edition, it's more confined. Right, it's more like this happens, and then this might happen, and this happens, and then this might happen. While in the Cypher system, somebody might come with a completely random ID, and it's way easier for a game master to just be like, okay, yeah, it's difficulty, I don't know, 6, whatever, because it's really hard, or it's difficulty 3, and boom, you go with it, right? And that's why I think Out of Dreaded Accursed is really good for the Cypher system.
By you saying it, by you saying it,
okay, dude.
I was just saying, by him saying about it being a narratively driven game, you came to the right place, because Cypher System is literally all the mechanics support the narrative, everything about it. So, you know, you're definitely in good hands with that.
I was just going to say a side note. Isn't it great when you design a scene and everyone is cheering and happy, like, you know, the scene is successful? Like, so when I hear you say, hey, this is a scene where everyone in the table is high-fiving and they're excited, and they, you know, that's like the best feeling in the world as a game. When you know you designed the scene and it like hit, you know, that's like why you GM, you know, for those.
Yeah, it's that flow you also get as I've been a semi-professional bass player for a while in my life, and it's that same flow as a bass player. You're calling it in the pocket. You're playing in the pocket with a drummer, and you're just like vibing, right? You can get that point in your GMing career where you're just at the table making shit up on the fly, but you're vibing so well, and your brain is on overdrive, and you're coming up with the coolest stuff that after a session you're like, somebody should buy the rights of this and make a movie out of it. It's just like after a session of playing a game at the table, and that's so freaking cool to get in that flow of GMing. And yeah, I've ran one actual play on my channel where I do some sci-fi stuff, but it is highly improvised and just like coming up with the weirdest stuff. That's what the Cypher System is about.
Yeah, that is the greatest feling in the freaking
like
world.
I played the superhero one shot with, I'm always murdering his name, Get up. Yeah. I played the one shot on his channel where we were superheroes. Man, that was just so freaking random. That was like my main introduction into the Cypher System as a player, and it's just so quick and it's so easy. And
the crazy thing that you'll learn with Cypher System is you can do it with any genre you want. Whatever you want to play, it's at your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, that's for me. That's its strength, but it's also its weakness. For me, like if you read like that book right there. Oh, people can see that probably. Yeah, they can. It is many genres, but it doesn't shine in one, right? And I get why people would open it up and be like, nah, it's not fantasy enough, or no, it's not sci-fi enough, and they just put it down. And they don't look into it any further. The white books, the ones that are there that people can see, they fix that, right? They show like, how can you make this system shine for fantasy? How can you make it shine for superheroes? Make it shine for freaking sci-fi, whatever. Those books do it really well, but I think it holds itself back towards like some people who are Cypher curious might not really look into it just because it's not enough of what you're looking for, right? If you know what
that's
I mean.
the whole point, though. The difference.
Hold on a second. In all fairness, I think that's the universal problem with all generic role-playing games.
Yeah.
From GURPS to Fate to Savage Worlds. And there's only so many pages in a book you could put. So when you come up with these universal mechanics, right? You want to touch on the genres, but you can't, because then there'll be a 1,500 page tome,
And
you have to rely on those setting books to, give the it, to scratch the itch for the person that wants sci-fi.
And that's what that's kind of the point I was trying to get to. What Anthony just said. That's really it. If you think about it, Cypher System is it came after the setting book for all settings was Numenera. It came after the Strange. Because the Strange basically was a setting book. If you really think about it, the Strange was the forerunner to Cypher System. It just had a setting built into it. And so that's what I mean. That's why I say it's that beautiful thing, because once you embrace the Cypher System itself and realize its flexibility, then that means you can turn around and actually utilize it to the best of that ability. And if you like what you're saying with your Isle of the Dreaded Accursed, this is a perfect thing for your audience to be, exposed to, and all those D&D players who actually get to experience it in Cypher System. If you ever get to run them or whatever, or we run them, however it goes, that just gives power and credence to the system itself, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So.
Also, it's when you're playing a fantasy adventure or whatever in the Cypher System, what I think is cool about it is if you want to introduce some sci-fi elements or some science fantasy elements or whatever into your fantasy game, it's like that, right? That's what I like about it. For 5th edition, often you come up with like an ID, and then you need to go flip through books in order to find rules that are actually work for what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. And that you don't have that with the Cypher System. You're like, yeah, it's a difficulty 4.
Exactly.
Just do it.
Even if there is a rule for it, the hell with it, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll look at it later.
Now it's a difficulty 4.
Yeah, we'll look at it later.
I made a huge mistake on my channel, by the way, in one of my first videos about the Cypher System, where I was doing the Numenera review, and I was like, oh, cool, they reprinted the rules in the Numenera book. That's so convenient. And then somebody in my comments was like, dude, the book came first. And I was like, whoops. So, yeah.
Guys, real quick,
That
before you
happens.
ask a question, chat, if you have a question for Mr.Tarrasque, please put it in chat, preface with the word question, so I'll know ahead of time to copy and paste it onto our question form, because after we ask our questions, if Mr.Tarrasque has some time, we're going to take some questions for the audience.
So my next question for you, Mr. Tarrasque, is, without giving anything away, without any, fanfare, do you have a favorite scene or character in the Isle of the Dreaded Accursed that you could tell us about?
Yeah, the scene has to be the Kraken. It is an encounter without it being an encounter, but it's also an encounter because it has encounters built in to something that isn't an encounter. It is really weird. You need to read it in order to know what I'm talking about. A character, I'm gonna say Oris the Cook. Oris the Cook is he's a half orc. He's the boss man of the Funky Fish Tavern, which has a menu in the book with all kinds of craziness going on. And the main thing he has is he's this big purple orc dude who is a cook, and he has 2 tentacles coming out of his rib case that he uses also to carry plates around, right? So he carries these plates, and then he can use his hands to take stuff from these plates to put it on the tables. And I've written it in a way where you don't ask about the tentacles. If you ask about the tentacles, stuff gets a bit weird, right? So nobody really knows. There's like 1,000 stories how Oris the Cook got his tentacles, but you don't ask about it because you just he starts acting a bit weird. It won't kill you or anything. He's a friendly person, but he's weird about it. He's like
He's self-conscious about it. Self-conscious.
really early in the adventure. It just is like set the tone of it being at points somewhat serious, but also at points somewhat silly at the same time, right? Because the tentacles are a silly thing, but it's also serious for Horus. So that's how I'm trying to portray that feeling of like a good movie also takes itself serious at times, but also takes itself not too serious at times, which is something that I was going for with that character.
That sounds really cool. In the 5e, the original 5e version, it was designed for like 10th level characters, right? So what
tier 2, so 5 to 10.
I was gonna ask, what tier are you aiming for in the Cypher version?
I get that question a lot, but that's the Cypher. That's not really a question if in the Cypher system, right? It took me a long time to actually understand that. That in the Cypher system, you don't really think in challenge ratings, you don't really think, and you need to play it in order to get it. People were telling me, and I was like, yeah, but you need like guidance in what tier, and you need. But in the Cypher system, a tier 1 character with like 7 XP piled up, they can do some godlike shit just for while being tier 1, right? They can, if they want, they can defeat like really high level monsters or encounters. So I'm not really looking at the tiers per se, but I'm gonna say that the character shouldn't be like an introduction adventure. The characters should have some XP piled up. Maybe some characters are nearing tier 2, others are almost at tier 2, so they should have some extra hit points, so to speak. They should have some extra stuff going on, some extra skills. But so I'm saying like on that tipping point between tier 1 and tier 2, right? You have 3 boxes ticked of your level up thingy, your advancement tab, and you're almost at 4. Maybe one player's already at 4 and they're at tier 2. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But there's going to be times that you want to probably run away, and you're like, nope, not today, boys.
Running away is always an option that some players with you
players should learn that. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, back in the old days, we had moments where we would like, no, we're not doing this right now. We're gonna go this way.
Yeah, it's like for me, dragons in 5th edition are always optional. They're always high risk, high reward, right? But they're optional. You need to go off the beaten path, basically, to do the dragon, right? To go and kill or slay or convince the dragon, whatever. High risk, high reward. My players know it. Players who've been playing with me for 15 years know that my dragons are freaking badass. I play them to their fullest potential, but they're high reward. Almost every encounter, somebody drops from a dragon, right? But nobody ever doesn't do it. So they always go for the dragon. Always. Players don't learn. They don't learn.
So with all that being said, what advice can you give anyone wanting to start writing or crowdfunding their own adventures? And what's the biggest lesson you've learned from your experience with Backerkit?
Well, this is my first Backerkit, basically. So before this, I was on Kickstarter. For Isle of Dreaded Accursed with 5th edition Kickstarter. I'm also writing the quintessential guide to monster encounters with a few YouTubers. My advice is buy some sleeping pills because crowdfunding campaigns, I mean, they are the biggest stress I've ever known in my life. Even if you don't want it to be stress. Like, for example, this Kickstarter right now, this crowdfunding campaign, I'm not doing it. It's not like a big financial thing for me. It is, I really, it's a passion project where I want to bring it. So even if it fails, I'm okay. But even then, it is absolute complete stress. So you need to take that in account before you do a Kickstarter. And I'm talking about a lot of people who are doing Kickstarters, crowdfunding campaigns, and they ask me like, hey, does the stress ever go away? No, it's 30 days of no sleep, basically. But writing adventures, yeah, it's fun, but it takes up a lot of time. Everybody who wants to do it, I advise you to just do it. And write some, like for me, I started out, but I was lucky enough to do it with Joshua Perry, JVC Perry. And I just, the first pages I wrote, he was like, yeah, no, that goes out the door. Rewrite it. I just needed to rewrite it, and he rewrote it, and then I rewrote it, and I started getting like somewhat good at it through the process of writing the adventure. And then JVC Perry, Joshua came in and he fixed a bunch of stuff. So I learned. So I always like, it's the same thing with music. I've been teaching bass for years, and I always say like you need to jam with people who are better than you, because they'll lift you up. That's the most important advice. It's the same thing with like when you learn music, it's like learning a language, right? A baby also starts talking wrongly, and which is the same thing as jamming with professional musicians, right? They start talking wrongly, and these professional people who are the parents and people around them, they lift them up. And it's the same with music, but it's the same with writing. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to show your mistakes to people who are in the field and who can basically, yeah, tell you like, no, this is really not good, and this I like this idea, and just get your ass kicked. That's crawl through the trenches, and yeah, you have to have like that yeah, you have to have that like that mindset of like the fighting mentality of like, even if my first work is crap, which for everybody it probably will be, you need the hours. You need to just grind the hours in order to get better at it. Writing, drawing, music, everything.
That's excellent advice. That also applies to role playing. If you
it does.
You need to do it and GM with experienced players and make those mistakes and let them see and take that advice. You know, don't get offended.
The biggest thing is to be willing to grow from it. To take the constructive criticism, take the bad, and make it better. Take the good and celebrate it. You know, you got to learn to take your wins and celebrate, and you got to learn to take the bad portions, you know, the parts you really don't want to hear, but hear it, because sometimes there could be merit in it.
Yeah, it's like as a sport, I practice aggressive inline skating, which is like inline skating on a skate park. It's not like aggressive, like I start punching everybody in the face. That's not that kind of aggressive. But
I was just thinking of roller derby.
But everybody's like, aren't you getting hurt? Aren't you afraid of falling? And you just need to be okay with getting hurt, like getting your ass kicked. If you need to be okay with getting your ass kicked, and if you're like, it's like if you go to kickboxing lessons, you get your ass kicked before you learn how to deal out punches, right? That's just the mindset behind writing RPGs. Same thing for me.
Yeah, and that's really the truth of the matter. I mean, a lot of people don't understand it, but you know, some things you might have a natural aptitude towards. Other things you have to work on, and even if you have a natural aptitude, the more you do it, the better you get.
Absolutely.
So.
Do you have a favorite genre or setting you like to play in or write for?
Play in, it's going to be Midgard. I just love Midgard. But that said, I do my own thing with it. Like, I'm not that much of a person who takes a setting and completely 100% sticks to that. You have people who read a setting and they want to do everything according to the lore, which is great. I mean, I always say find your fun, but that's just not me. I'm just like, I'm taking bits of lore. But in general, I play most of my 5th edition games in Midgard. Like Isle of Dreaded Accursed isn't set in Midgard or anything, but for my home table, I set it in Midgard. Just gave it a place in Midgard. But yeah, that's I mostly play Midgard, and I also just often when I start new campaigns with like new people, I don't even talk about the setting. I just go into an adventure. You're in this town, in this kind of area. and I just don't really even talk about like the big world. Because the same with movies, right? The good movies are the ones that keep you kind of guessing. I hate movies that start off with a freaking voiceover telling you everything there is to know about the setting, and then there's just action scenes, and then it's over. That's why I like Jurassic Park, right? Jurassic Park is like, what the fuck is going on? Oh shit, there's real dinosaurs, right? It's the same with Back to the Future. It's like, you build a freaking time machine out of a DeLorean, and you're just like going with Marty McFly, learning about what the hell is going on. And I like that as a storytelling mechanic. Just I don't really like sitting at the table and putting a giant map on the table and being like, hey, this is the world you're in, and you're here, and you're this, and you're that. No, I am more like start playing and figure out the setting. The players figure out the setting while they play. That's something I like as a storytelling mechanic.
So, yeah, start small and branch your way out.
Yeah, like, it also gives you the freedom to come up with stuff that you might otherwise say stuff differently and then say something else, and players will catch you on and be like, no, what was different before? And then you need to, it fucks up the space-time continuum of your world.
And those 10 pages of lore you gave me before the game, you said it was this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the basic idea behind it.
See?
So, next question. I'm sorry.
No worries.
So, at the end of the day, is there anything else you'd like to tell our audience about the Isle of the Dreaded Accursed that we may have missed, that we didn't touch on? And what can we look forward to, from Mr.Tarrasque in the future?
About Isle of the Dreaded Accursed, I don't know. It's a fantasy adventure. You get the 5th edition version for free if you back the Cypher version. I'm writing it. I'm having Cat Up, who's helping me out. So people who are in the Cypher scene know that dude. He has a great YouTube channel on the Cypher System. He has, I don't know where he stores all the knowledge, but he has it.
Big old noggin of his.
Yeah. I really want to get like to the stretch goals because I have Brian Sheem from Cobalt Press, one of the best artists out there, who wants to do some art for it. I want to do the Foundry virtual tabletop thing really badly, but all that takes time and money to make and create. So make sure to check out the Kickstarter page. In the future, I got like the basic idea ready for a new adventure that I will be kickstarting probably after the summer, because Isle of the Dreaded Accursed is fully written, right? So it's just a conversion that I'm crowdfunding. But I got like the basic framework of a new adventure called Hymn of the Dragonflower ready, which I will kickstart, hopefully. But I want to do like a dual kickstart for 5th edition and Cypher System. So I'm just gonna I want to release it in both versions. So basically what I want to do for that, it's just like ID phase, but what I want to do for that is I want to write the adventure, and then I want to have, for example, Joshua Parry do like the mechanics of 5th edition, and then do somebody else do the mechanics of the Cypher System on that story. Basically, that's how I want to go about it. So people can back it for 5th edition. Like, no, everybody gets just both, right? That's just how I wanna do it.
Nice.
I already have art for it. I might pull it up. That's the thing here.
Sweet.
Can
if
I?
anyone else has a question for Mr.Tarrasque, please put it in chat now before we go into our rapid fire questions, our world famous rapid fire questions. I know we have one. But if anyone else has a question.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Can I do that?
You should be able to on Zoom.
Is this the right one? Where are we? Where are you guys? I'm screwing with the screen. Are you seeing this?
Yeah.
I've seen it on Zoom, but on Discord
okay.
I don't know if on the Twitch channel it
probably won't work. Okay. Sorry.
No worry. But if you want, we could definitely share it on the Discord server and on
Yeah, it's an amazing piece of art, which is the cover of Hymn of the Dragonflower, which I had already have been holding on to for a year now. It's amazing. It's an amazing piece of art.
Well, we have one question from Bright Crazy Star. They ask, what is new from the 5e version? It was great, but I can run it. I ran the cook like LL Cool J from Deep Blue Sea. The parrot was a parrot lich. It said macabre versions of things when it parroted the PCs. That sounds awesome, by the way. He's essentially asking, is there anything different from the 5e version?
At this point in time, no. Only, like, I truly just want to change up the mechanics. So that people who are into the Cypher system can run it. But the only thing that I could say is, of course, there are the player and GM intrusions that are not in the 5th edition version that are going to be in the Cypher version. So I really want, that's the cool thing. That's what I'm really looking forward to. I can go through this adventure, translate the monsters, translate the challenges, all of that stuff, but I also can have like these GM intrusion boxes and player intrusion boxes with like ideas what you can do that fit the story. And that's what I said like at the beginning of this stream. Like it is a very narratively driven adventure, so it is also perfect for these GM intrusions and these player intrusions to like fit the story and drive the plot forward, basically. So I'm really looking forward to those in like the Cypher version.
So one final question. One final question on my side. Are you going to be providing any pre-gens for the players? There's a lot of people.
You mean
characters? Yes.
I haven't thought about that actually. That's actually a pretty good idea. That's the first time somebody asks. Might be a good idea to do that. Yeah. Why not?
I also have another question. Are you adding any ciphers or artifacts to the adventure?
Well, the adventure already has a bunch of magic items, a bunch of what I call magic items. So those are going to be now, well, basically ciphers or artifacts or whatever you want to call them in the Cypher system. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing like one extra random rolling table with some new short-term thingies like ciphers. It's really difficult for me to know what to name them, because for me like cipher is more of like a general term. In a setting like a fantasy setting, it's for me it's just a magic item, right?
Right.
But the adventure already has a bunch of magic. It has a lot of magic items that you can potentially find. So
we have one more question from the audience. Gansa Game asks, so when did Cypher click for Mr.T?
Not long ago, actually. Like I said in the beginning of the stream, during the OGL situation of Wizards of the Coast, I had this book for a long time because Monty Cook sent it to me. I never opened it. I opened it due to the OGL situation, and it almost instantly clicked for me. I opened the book. I was like reading like the basic idea and some of the rules, and then I went online, watched some videos on how to play it, and I immediately understood it. I made some mistakes when I did my videos, my first videos in like rules. I told people to spend stuff from their edge instead of spend stuff from their pool, and the edge lowers the cost. So I made some mistakes, but I got the system, right? Which is really important. It just clicked instantly after watching like one video on YouTube. I got it. And I just wanted to share it with the world. And that's why I started making content. That's why I do these 5-minute explanation videos of like how to play it as a player, how to convert a monster, how to go level up your character. Yeah.
That sounds, I mean, first of all, you do excellent work on your videos. And I'm happy it clicked for you because, like I said, you bring in a whole new audience to Cypher System, which is greatly appreciated. You answered our questions, you answered our audience questions, but here is the important part. Here's where we do our world famous rapid fire questions. Here's where we dig deep into your soul and we pull out your essence. We stretch it on the table for the whole world to see. Are you ready for our world famous rapid fire questions?
I was born ready, so hit me.
Dean, you want to do the first question?
Player or GM?
Oh, player.
Oh, pool punches or TPK?
Sorry, come again?
Pool punches or TPK?
Pull punches.
Online or in-person gaming?
In person. Definitely.
Announce the difficulty number or keep it a secret?
Are we talking Cypher System?
Yeah, either
Yeah.
or.
Yeah. It's for the Cypher System. Announce it, and for 5th edition, don't. That's
Oh, nice.
Salty or sweet snacks at the gaming table?
Sweet.
Ooh. RP or combat?
RP.
PDF or physical books?
Physical books.
Pen and paper notes or digital notes?
Pen and paper.
Ooh.
Old school.
Pre-written adventures or original content?
Original content. Definitely.
Woo! You survived our rapid fire questions. Everybody give them a round of applause.
I like this. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
All right.
So about the first one of the GM and the player, I just set player because I never get to play, and I love playing. So I'm like a forever GM. So
Welcome to our world. The only reason I think Anthony and I get to play is because of each other.
Yeah, that's pretty much a good.
I mean, if I get to play, it's because I'm playing in a game Ant's running or Al is running. Other than that, it's GM all day long. So
but I don't get me wrong. I love GMing. I love every second of it. But it's just
we do too.
every now and then, you just want to play like a one shot or like 3 adventures, just being a player and not knowing what is going on, not having to come up with stuff on the fly, like NPC names and stuff. Just sitting down and having this ridiculous character, just like a ridiculous character ID, and just sitting down and eating Cheetos and playing. That's just basically.
Oh yeah. Well, see, my problem, I tell people all the time, my biggest problem with that is, even when I get the opportunity to play, the GM in me gets inspired, because you're sitting there playing and, somebody will say something and it's a new idea. It said me and Ant do it to each other all the time. So it's kind of fun. I'll be playing a game and next thing I know, I got an adventure. I got to, take a note. So
yeah, totally.
I just want to say to our audience, please go check up our Dreaded Accursed. It sounds like a phenomenal adventure, and we need more Cypher System adventures. And the only way we're gonna get more content creators, more designers building stuff is us as a community support the people that are actually trying to provide these projects for us. Mr.Tarrasque is an awesome guy. Great YouTube channel. Please go and support him. Like he said, it's $20, and you get everything on the Kickstarter. You can't beat that with a baseball bat. So please go out. I'm gonna go support this right after this video. Please go out and support it. The more people in our community that support our content creators, the more content we're gonna get as a whole. And we have to support our own. We have to take care of our own, because if we don't, nobody else will. So please go out and support Mr.Tarrasque, support this project. It's going to be hella fun. And hopefully, who knows, we could get Mr.Tarrasque one day to come and run somebody on the Cypher Unlimited or the Cypher Unlimited Discord server. Come on and run this adventure for everyone. It'll be an awesome experience.
That would be amazing.
And before we close this up for the night, I just want to say once again, thank you, Mr. Tarrasque, for coming on the show. I want to tell all of our people who are watching that this is an excellent adventure. I've read the 5th edition version from beginning to end. It is. Oh, wow. It is actually quite the adventure. And I wish I had time to work on it myself, but it's pretty cool. It's and I'm quite sure when it hits for Cypher, it's going to be just as cool, if not cooler. So please support that. Anthony, you want to take us home?
Yep, we'll find out in 26. There's 26 days left. So once again, thank you, Mr. Raz. Go check out the Kickstarter.
Thank you for having me.
We'll have the links here on Twitch, and of course it'll be on our YouTube channel. in the description when we post this video tomorrow. But if you like us and you like what we do, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord server for all things Monica Games. We have the largest fan-run Discord server for everything MCG. We have games being run every day, great conversations being had, and just an all-around awesome community. But if Discord's not for you, join our Facebook group. It's not as big as our Discord, but there's still great conversations being had there as well. Or give us a sub here on Twitch. Subscribe, we greatly appreciate it. Or go to our YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe there. You know, we recently hit 1,000 subs there, and we're trying to go. We like 1,200, and we're going up. So we really appreciate the support. Or go to our online store and pick up some cool Cypher Unlimited merch, like the shirt I have on, Dean has on, and the hat I have on as well. Or our videos are always free, but you could give us a little donation on Ko-fi. It helps us out with little things like Zoom costs. And last but not least, we love you guys.
And so, with that mouthful being said from us at the CU, we will see you all later.